Hello, folks. This is your old editor, getting ancient of days here, Mike Rehling. And I am going to talk to you today briefly, very briefly, about Haiga and what I look for when you submit. The first thing is the image. And I want to start off by saying I don't care how you generate the image. If you have rice paper and ink that you ground yourself from soot and coal, God bless you. Very traditional. I love it. Okay. That's number one. But that's not the only way we do Haiga here in the West. And that's the way it is. The image itself can come from anywhere. Clearly, photographs are a big part of it. And those photographs can be manipulated in any number of ways. Yeah, I use manipulation is not a bad word. Ansel Adams manipulated his images. He was limited by because he had a box this big and he had paper and he had chemicals. And my dad was a photographer. And so we had a dark room in every home we had. So I understand that. And I remember the pain that we all went through with digital images when digital cameras first came out. They were the devil. They weren't artistic. They were lousy. They were terrible. There was too many things wrong with them, and people could change the images. Ansel Adams wrote 3 books on how he produced his stuff. And I used him as an example, but believe me, there's hundreds of them. And he wrote a whole book on printing and they had 1,000 kinds of paper, Kodak and Fuji, 1,000 kinds of paper, all of which gave you a different tone, a different feel, a grain. They could be very flat, very glossy, and everything in between. 1,000. Okay, that's manipulation. And now we do it with keyboard. It's the same thing. So having gone through all that nonsense with, oh, it's a digital image, therefore it's not art. That blew up in their face. It's the only thing that's being used now. I had my dad's old speed graphic. I gave it to my daughter-in-law who likes old cameras and stuff like that. But uh, it was a great camera for its time and it still would work today. But there's a problem. Today is digital. Okay. Now, people get criticized AI generated images. I got news for you. We've been doing it for 20 years. Part of what do you think Adobe is? What do you think Paint Shop Pro is? That's what I use. It allows you to manipulate every aspect. I could change every pixel one at a time if I wanted to, although I can't imagine anybody doing that. And that manipulation allows me to take a moonset into a sunset. Is that horrible? No. Painters do it all the time. They're sitting there watching that. They're doing the trees and everything else, and the sunset is up here in their brain. By the time they're through, they've spent 3 days and they've been through moons and suns and sunsets and all kinds, and it's a piece of everything. That's what art is. It's creativity. And we move around words on a page. I hope we consider that poetry, and I hope that's considered art. So I don't care. Also, stock images that are on the internet that have no copyright or issues, fine with me. And then take them and manipulate them if you must. Put them in Adobe or something else and give me some creativity. I don't care about the image. Where you got it from is irrelevant. Only one thing matters that will cost you your image, and that's copyright infringement. Can't do that. So when you submit, you're saying there is no copyright issue. If there turns out to be one, you'll pay the price. People get very angry and people will boycott your work and everything if they find out you're stealing other people's images. So don't do it. Just don't do it. But I have not had a problem with that in almost 9 years now. I'm doing Failed Haiku and 2 years of short stuff way back when. I never had a problem with it. I've only had one issue that became a copyright issue, and it was resolved instantly, and it was a single poem, by the way, which is the easier thing to mess up on. But here, that's what I'm telling you is make your image as crisp, as blurred. You can use multimedia. You can be a person who, like Ron Moss, I always use him as the example. He'll have ink in the drawing, he'll have painting in the drawing, and he'll have a photograph, and he'll merge the aspects of them in different ways and put them together. That's art. Sorry if you disagree. If you feel like rice paper and ink is the only way to go, that's fine too, though. And if you look at something and you don't appreciate it, what I've said all along, whether it's a poem, haiga, haiben, whatever it is in failed haiku, move on. It happens all the time to me. Okay. I love modern haiku and I love Paul Miller. I think his selections are outstanding. But every once in a while, I run into one and say, what the hell was that about? It happens. And a lot of times it may just be me that I'm dull as a post that day, and I wasn't seeing what the artist and what Paul saw. No criticism. So I don't care if you criticize me. Feel free. Open up. I don't, it doesn't bother me at all. But I want you to be creative. And I want you to understand something with Haiga. There's a very simple thing here. What am I looking for? First thing I read is the poem. You can have the most beautiful image in the world, and it can be so wonderful. And if you got Ozzy Dotes, this is the haiku, I think, for your haiku or senru, good luck. You've destroyed you may as well just publish the picture and forget about the poem. Okay. And I'm not going to tell you we aren't going to ever tell you how to write a senru, what the rules are. There's 20,000 of poems that have been published, more than that probably now, in failed haiku. I think you can figure out what we're about there and what a senru is from reading it and looking at it. Okay, that's a start. But basically, it's something that reveals the humanness of the experience, whether that human experience occurs in nature or at your kitchen table, irrelevant to me. So, but the poem is the thing you need to work on. Don't worry about the image. Stop. I wish people would not write silly things about AI is going to destroy Haiga. No, it's not. In fact, it's the best thing that ever happened to it, because people are going to be able to do things and create images that they might not ever have been able to do privately on their own. I'm not a good painter. I wouldn't even attempt it anymore. I've tried too many times and it doesn't work. So what I want to clearly tell you is focus on the poem. Don't worry about the image. Only thing about the image you need to be concerned about is it copyrightable? Is somebody else hold the copyright to it? If it is, contact them. I've done it. People have said, hey, I like your picture. Can I steal it? Can I use it for Haiga? As long as you attribute it to me, I'm fine. I don't care. In fact, you can do it without asking me. My work is that free. I'm not trying to make money at this. And God knows I don't make any money editing failed haiku. It's a cost kind of thing for me. I do it because I love it. And I love Haiga. So here's your message. Be creative. No copyright infringement. Cool with me. Focus on the poem. Thanks for listening. Hope this helps.